Welcome to KXAN News Today. At 10 this morning, you're going to see some smoke and fire. Austin doing a 300-acre prescribed burn to help with the water quality. It's happening on the west side of southbound I-35 in Hayes County near Buda. It's going to burn until sunset tonight.
The city of Round Rock is welcoming a new fire station this morning after the station was voter approved in May of last year. That opening ceremony is today, and it's open to the public. It's at 2 o'clock, with 2 others slated to be built in the upcoming years.
And some of Austin's best chefs and restaurants are fighting it out in the kitchen. Today's the 3rd annual Austin Food Fight. It's to support children in foster care, happening at Distribution Hall on East 4th Street in Austin. Tickets are $95, and you'll have access to some of Austin's best food and drinks. And it is a chilly morning compared to what we've been used to. Central Texas seeing that cold front moving through, and now we're feeling it this morning. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
And I'm Erica Brennis, in for Sally Hernandez. We've got Kristen Curry in this morning. I like to call these mornings crisp and cool.
Yes, we've been waiting a long time for these kind of mornings. The jacket needed. Let's start with the live look outside, because that clear sky that we've got on our Ewell Kubota weather camera there in Georgetown playing into some of the reasons as to why we're so much cooler this morning. Let's start out west, where you're seeing a whole lot more of those 40s compared to the 50s and 60s I was showing you yesterday. I say some of the reasons we're cooler because, yes, that cold front came through yesterday. We're clearer. We've got light winds, dry air, everything coming together to allow for a chilly start to the day. And it's not just in the hill country. We have temperatures even in the 40s closer to the metro, like Cedar Park, Round Rock, Dripping Springs. Right now, Austin, downtown Austin, currently sitting at 56. We've got the Austin Airport at 53, and widespread 40s and 50s across our eastern counties this morning. So a jacket to start, but probably not needed this afternoon, as we are on our way to a high of 77. But that too is much cooler than the 88 we had yesterday. How long will the cool weather stick around, and when can we expect some wet weather? More on that coming up in your first warning forecast.
Thank you, Kristen. Still too close this morning to call the race for Austin mayor. Travis County posting its final round of unofficial election results last night.
Mayor Kirk Watson still leads with just over 50% of the vote, but just barely enough to avoid a runoff with current second-place candidate Carmen Yanes-Pulido. We also have Hayes County unofficial election results in that count. This means that we're only waiting on official totals from Williamson County to call the race. Williamson County officials told us that their canvass is likely scheduled for Friday, and we hope to get their election results by the end of the day on Friday.
Austin police are now investigating the city's 60th homicide of the year. What we know so far, police say a man stabbed another man at a gas station on South 1st Street. This is in South Austin near Ditmar Road and William Cannon Drive. Officers found that man bleeding in the parking lot, adding he later died at the hospital. Police say they detained a person of interest at another gas station across the street. We don't know if those 2 men knew each other.
Going in depth, this time last year, Austin also saw exactly 60 homicides. 2023 finished with 73 homicides, with 8 happening in the month of November alone.
President-elect Donald Trump making more cabinet nominations, including Fox News host Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. He's an Army National Guard veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He also has argued against women in combat roles and said the military focuses too much on diversity.
Any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever, that was involved in any of the DEI woke, it's got to go.
Democrats pushing back, saying Hegseth does not have the experience to run the largest department in the federal government. President-elect is also picking former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. She's a former 4-term House Democrat and an Army National Guard veteran. She switched parties in 2022 and became a high-profile Trump supporter earlier this year. Gabbard also ran for president in 2020.
Republicans are maintaining control of the House of Representatives, but by the thinnest of margins. This means Republicans will be in control of both the House and the Senate, and this could allow them to advance President-elect Trump's agenda faster, including the Senate speeding up cabinet nominee approvals. Heads up, your commute into downtown Austin today might be a little bit different if you're used to driving on Congress. The city is preparing for the Texas Book Festival this weekend. On your screen is a map showing the areas that will be blocked off for the book festival. Congress Avenue, beginning at 7th Street and then up to 11th at the Texas Capitol, will be closed starting today. Other roads highlighted on your screen will also be closed on Friday. 40,000 book lovers are expected to take to the streets on Saturday, and more than 250 authors are planning to be there. To find out the best way to get around those closures, as well as where you can purchase some of the books you'll see at the festival, head over to KXAN.com and search Texas Book Festival. Nearly 70 businesses, local chambers, and associations want to help make childcare more accessible for working families in Texas.
Yeah, the Employers for Childcare Task Force laid out its priorities for the upcoming Texas legislature. This session, the group is planning to push for both immediate improvements and more long-term sustainable changes. At the top of the list, legislation to make it easier for employers of all sizes to, quote, innovate and help their employees find affordable, quality childcare.
Make it a priority to have information, resources, best practices, toolkits, examples that employers could use to access childcare for their employees.
Another priority for the group is removing local regulatory barriers that increase costs for home-based childcare providers. The task force tells us it's already regulated extensively by the state. For a full list of its goals, you can head to this story on our website, KXAN.com.
Some state senators are focusing on increasing the state's workforce productivity by including access to child care. The lawmakers are part of the Natural Resources and Economic Development Committee and plan to meet later this morning. Travis County voters gave county leaders the okay to start looking at child care options. Voters approved Prop A in last week's election. It's a property tax hike increase that would support affordable child care options for babies and school children of low-income households. Welcome back. There's new video of 3 men who robbed another man at gunpoint.
And Austin police are hoping that you're going to watch this and could help identify the suspects. They're wearing the ski masks, or 2 with the ski masks, the other with a black hoodie. The suspects end up taking this man's belongings, his car keys. Police say the 3 of them then take off in the man's car. Happened on August 17th at the Lakewood Apartments near I-35 in Howard Lane. If you know what happened or if you can help, please call Austin Police. Good morning. This is a live look over downtown Austin as we kick off this Thursday morning. Happy to have you with us here on KXAN News Today. As a lot of college students struggle with paying off debt, Governor Greg Abbott is putting some pressure on Texas colleges and universities to keep tuitions from continuously rising. In a letter on Wednesday to Texas universities and colleges, Abbott said undergraduate tuition and fee increases in the next 2 years, they're prohibited. Abbott said in the letter, this is a way for public universities to ease the financial burden on our students and their families. As the current tuition freeze expires, he will not support any tuition increase at any public higher education institution in the upcoming biennium.
I think that's a great thing. I don't think tuition should raise at all in any state. I think everything at this point in time is at an all-time high, and I don't think it should get any higher. So I'm glad he's doing that.
Abbott went on to say that he will ensure college affordability remains a top priority for the state heading into the next legislative session. In a statement to KXAN, the University of Texas said, we share Governor Abbott's passion for finding new and innovative ways to make higher education more affordable and accessible, especially for those with limited financial means.
Useful tool here. Texas offers an online calculator for all the fees a student needs to pay. The estimated cost of tuition for the 2024-25 academic school year at UT, somewhere between $10,000 and a little more than $13,000. That's for a full-time undergraduate living either on or off campus. The total cost, though, of attendance for those students, which then factors in the books, the housing, the other estimated expenses, somewhere between $31,000 and $35,000.
Ahead this morning on Today, a look at the highly anticipated release of Wicked, set to hit theaters next week. Savannah and Hoda sit down with the stars of the film ahead of its release.
People love wicked. And you have held this treasure and actually discovered new things. What does that mean to you?
I think the thing that was most important to us all along was finding that balance between honoring the source material while also, in a way, forgetting it and bringing our own new truths to it, because we are also those wicked fans. So it's been so beloved by so many for so many years, and getting to know these women as well as we got to know each other.
Very exciting. Excited about this in our house. It's all coming up on today. Oh, yeah. I mean, we have it planned.
Yeah.
I mean, and this, and then you've got Moana, too. So we have some exciting movie-going nights over the next couple months to wrap up the year.
I am going to be interested to see the feedback from those who've seen the Broadway show. Because I have, and I'm a little hesitant because I loved it so much on stage that I'm like, ooh, you know, like any sort of like redo or remake kind of makes people a little nervous.
You never know.
You love it so much. But
it's like that if there's a book, if there's a movie, if there's a musical, like how different they all are. But the people who I have seen share on social media who got the sneak peek, early access, they come out crying.
Yeah, I've heard really good
They love
reviews,
it. I'm like, okay.
I had the same feeling with Twisters, and I ended up loving that sequel too. So fingers crossed. Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here, because honestly, today's going to be a really nice day. We're finally starting to feel like fall, y'all. Indeed, domain camera showing clear skies this morning. It is chilly. Grab that coat before you go. We've got 40s in the hill country, 50s, and some 40s scattered across the Austin metro and our eastern counties. But look at the difference between right now and 24 hours ago. That's a 20-degree cool down in Marble Falls, San Sab, Atlanta, Fredericksburg, and Mason. Austin down by about 7 degrees. That difference in temperature will probably be a little bit more pronounced as we get into the afternoon. As far as the Austin metro goes, considering yesterday we hit 88, and I don't think we're going to leave the 70s this afternoon. Your forecast high is 77 with plenty of sunshine, light winds out of the northeast at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And no need to worry about the rain gear. We're going to see plenty of sunshine. That's going to help get these temperatures up to the mid to upper 70s. Now, mind you, 72 is our average. So even behind a cold front, we're still running warmer than normal. Look at tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, as we've been highlighting, does look to be the coldest morning of the next 5 to 6 days. We are going to see widespread 30s and 40s. So if you've got sensitive plants outside, probably not a bad idea to bring them inside. I don't think we're going to freeze, but it is going to be pretty uncomfortable with that chill in the air as we start tomorrow. But we will rebound nicely, getting back to the upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. 80s return for the weekend. And then we've got a cold front coming in from the west as we get into the later part of Sunday and Monday. So let's time this out together. We've got dry skies expected today and tomorrow. Sunshine across almost the entire state of Texas. Once we get into Saturday, a little bit more cloud cover. Sunday is when I'm expecting way more cloud cover with the possibility of some spotty showers late in the day. This front passes through the state late Sunday into Monday. That's where that rain chance gets maximized at about 50%. Then it clears, sunshine Tuesday, but look what's up to the north. This is going to be that blast of colder air we first warned you about yesterday. Now, whether or not we get some rain, that's still a question mark with this second cold front. I do, however, expect our temperatures to fall. So how much rain can we expect in this week's 7-day? Well, not much, less than 1/4 of an inch for most between Sunday and Monday. Higher amounts in pockets, especially up towards the north. But it's going to be kind of a 1-2 punch, if you will. This first cold front brings a little bit of rain. That second cold front, as we get into early next week, is going to bring a whole lot more of that colder air. 70s and sunshine today and tomorrow. Nice day Saturday, a little warmer in the 80s. There's the rain chance Sunday into Monday, peaking, especially for the early part of Monday at 50%. And then you'll notice that second cold front coming down from the north drops our highs to the 50s. We will probably see those temperatures overnight in the 30s and 40s for quite a few nights as we get into next week. Tom?
All right, thank you, Kristen. A smell of burning wet feathers and death. It's how people in Bastrop have described a strong odor coming from a rendering facility in town. People living near the Camp Swift area say the Darling Ingredients DarPro rendering plant has been sending out awful smells for years. Why? It recycles poultry industry waste. Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, has received more than 120 complaints this year alone. When the TCEQ investigated, it found violations of air emission rules, but these smells have continued. Neighbors also told KXAN that they don't necessarily want the plant closed. They just want the smell to stop. And Darling Ingredients has told KXAN it apologizes for any inconvenience, plans to invest millions in upgrades to deal with this smell this coming year. If you want to learn more about what's going on, KXAN investigator David Barrera has the full story on KXAN.com under the Investigations tab.
There's progress in a plan to add at least one tolled lane on South Mopac from downtown to southwest Austin. There was an open house on Tuesday night. The Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority laid out its initial findings of an environmental study and presented a possible build out of the road. I was at that open house and have the latest on the project and how you can weigh in. About 200,000 people drive on Mopac between downtown and Slaughter Lane every day. 11 years has gone by since CTRMA first began discussing the Mopac South project. But a roadblock in the form of a 2016 environmental lawsuit and its appeals sidelined the project for years. Then the project suffered another delay, the pandemic. But there's new momentum in the form of this open house, which was held at Austin High School on Tuesday night. Louisa Thallander is one Austin resident who showed up to look at the plans.
I moved here in 2001, so I had a 1-month-old child, and we've been here ever since.
So you're very familiar with South Mopac.
Yes.
How have you seen it change in the recent decades?
I mean, just, it's packed. I mean, it's so much busier now than it has ever been. I think, you know, for probably the first 10 years we lived here, it was fine. There'd be a little bit of traffic, like at traffic times, like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. But now I feel like with all the building, like Buda and like kind of farther south and the toll road that's down there now and stuff like that, like 2 p.m. there's traffic. Like I sit and I inch along, you know, to get home, and it's, you know, 2 until probably like 6:30 or 7.
CTRMA released its latest environmental impact findings as well as another option for expansion. A new animation shows at least one express toll lane from South Austin to downtown with an entrance and exit ramp at Slaughter Lane, William Cannon, another one near 360, and again for downtown and Enfield Road.
I am hopeful for improvements. I mean, I appreciate that they're trying to take every factor into consideration, and that's important.
This is by no means even close to the final design, but it's an option that will evolve with more public input and planning.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
It's Steve Sarkisian's second ever game coaching at Texas. As Alfred Collins says, the Longhorns got their butt whooped by Arkansas on the road. Very hostile environment. Razorbacks rushed the field. Now in 2024, Texas set to go back to face Arkansas in a more renewed rivalry with both teams in the SEC. This is a rivalry that these Texas players did not necessarily grow up with. They were not born when these two teams were in the same conference. But whether it's Longhorns players that were there for that 2021 game or have just heard about it, they know everything that surrounds Texas in Arkansas.
We can look at the history if we want, but we know how we were treated the past game, so I think that's enough to get everybody going.
I was a freshman in high school watching Texas versus Arkansas, and I seen all that, so I didn't need too much. I watched it with my own eyes, so I already know what this is all about, and it's going to be a hard-fought game, and we're ready.
Our preparation now is back into getting enamored with what we need to do so that we can be the best version of ourselves Saturday. And I think Longhorn Nation deserves that. I think Arkansas deserves that because they didn't get the best version of us 4 years ago. And we need to make sure that we give them our best version this time around.
The burnt orange, you know, takes this rivalry to heart, and I'm just excited to go play.
Texas players that were there in 2021 all had different stories about what maybe stood out to them the most about facing Arkansas and that rabid fan base. Veteran defensive back and local product Jahdae Barron talked about as soon as the team left the team hotel, he could feel it all in the air. The Arkansas fans there made it very clear how they felt about that Texas program, and now they feel much more prepared about it to the players and the Texas coaching staff as a whole. For now at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium, Noah Gross, KXAN News.
Thanks, Noah. Coming up, how you can keep an eye out for the Austin Police Department. They need your help. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us. We hope you can join us on air for that story and much more. And don't forget, you can always find our stories on KXAN.com.